quit letting the cell phone with all the apps, tasks, and all the other hullabaloo use you, and you start using it. Hello, my name is Neil Durantz, and welcome to Texas Progressive Time, a show for pragmatists, not extremists. I was walking into one of our local restaurants last Wednesday and spotted an old client who I had not seen for several years. After studying each other for a few seconds, he smiled as our joint memories triggered as to who we were both recognizing. "Jimmy," I said. "Yeah, Neil," he replied. "It's been a long time, and you got a lot of snow on the roof." We both chuckled. I said, "It ain't the age, it's the mileage." "That's for dang sure," he continued in jesting. We sat down together and ordered a cup of coffee. I noted quickly that Jimmy began to stare into his coffee and became very solemn. "You know," he said, "the older I get, the less I seem to know about everything. And I don't have Alzheimer's or senility to blame it on." "What are you talking about, Jimmy?" I said. I was a little bumfuzzled by the sudden change in attitude. "This world is just all computers and videos and technology that I just can't understand," he said. "Well, I hear that. I see a new computer program every day that just baffles me," I said. "But I think we should all use this computer power, which has been condensed into the handheld background check." "What do you mean?" he asked, pulling his cell phone out of his pocket. "I mean, quit letting the cell phone with all the apps, tasks, and all the other hullabaloo use you, and you start using it. It's a kind of change of attitude for all the technology that seems to try to overwhelm us each day." "What do you use your cell phone for anyway?" I asked. "Well, I call Vera, my wife, and I have a calendar that sometimes works, but I sure as hell don't use it for depositing checks and moving money. I used to be on Facebook too, but I got tired of all the weirdos on that." I looked at Jimmy and changed the tone of our conversation quickly. "Jimmy, have you looked up a voting place or listened to a speech from a candidate for office?" "No," he replied, speaking very slowly and sounding a little confused. "Well, Jimmy, if you don't like the technology, just turn it off and don't use it." "Yeah," said Jimmy, "but then Vera would never be able to find me," he said. "I have a better idea. Rather than running away from all the technology, why don't you use it instead of letting it use you? You see, I just don't understand how anybody can claim ignorance on anything anymore. The entire world, good and bad, is at your fingertips. Just ignore the rest of the noise about cat videos to pranks and other stupid stuff. Is there something you've always wanted to know over the past few months?" "Well, yeah," he said slowly. "Well, what is it?" I asked. "Well, I just always wanted to know how John Wayne got his first Western role in Stagecoach." I typed in the search and the complete story, including quotes from the inimitable John Ford about the great role in finding Marion Robert Morrison, later to be known as John Wayne, came up immediately. Jimmy was not wide-eyed and amazed, but his brow furrowed, and I could see his concentration honing in on the most recent search. "Use the technology, but don't let it use you," I repeated. "Yeah," he replied. "You know, Neil, if this thing works like it should, we should all be the smartest people in the world. But, you know, it can't work without the books, too," said Jimmy. "Jimmy," I replied with fake surprise, "you have become a philosopher." "No," he chuckled, But, you know, it's time we all smarten up a lot. Agreed, I said. We live in a complex world, and it is hard to understand many of the problems we face today. We need to use every tool available to us to understand, cope, and make sense of what goes on around us. But one thing we cannot do is walk away just because we don't like the technology. I flagged the waitress for another cup of coffee. If you think that it is more important to be smarter and self-reliant than being a victim of circumstance, like and subscribe. And smarten up. I'll see you next week.